Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us for the Advisicon webinar series. Today's webinar is titled Microsoft PPM Roadmap Tools Bakeoff. We'll look at benefits, limitations, and best fits for Microsoft Roadmap tools. If you never heard of the term Bakeoff, it's basically a compare and contrast to help you find the best tool for your organization's needs. Here at Advisicon, our mission is to deliver technology, tools, and training to maximize impact, productivity, and purpose. Looking at today's agenda, we'll first examine what is the value of a roadmap, why even do a roadmap. Next, we'll plan for success, how to actually get this roadmap successfully implemented. And then we'll actually get into the bake-off. We'll look at different roadmap tools, compare and contrast, and see which one fits the needs of your organization. A little bit about myself. My name is Sean, and I am a project advisor as well as an academy trainer. I do have a background in math education. I am a project management professional. I also hold a CAPM, Certified Associate in Project Management. My experience is implementing Microsoft 365 as solutions for various organizations' needs. I do have a decade of delivering instruction and training, and I do enjoy good dad jokes and puns. For today's webinar, I'd like to share one with you. The directions told me to put the pie in the oven at 180 degrees. Now I'm left with an upside down pie in the oven. All right, let's first talk about the value of a roadmap. Wouldn't it be a shame and a waste to have gone through a year of projects to only look back and see that there was a minimal, if at all, relevant business return? Well, that's what can happen if you don't set a direction for the upcoming year. As it says on the slide here, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. Now, conversely, imagine a year of investments in your projects that realizes the intended value. Picture the increased work satisfaction, decreased waste time, and improved purposeful work. Not to mention the improved market positioning and decreased organizational risks. A roadmap sets you on a path toward a desired goal, and as the quote on screen illustrates, even if you miss, you'll still reach higher and closer to the desired end state. As we begin, let's first make sure we all understand what is a roadmap. A roadmap is a plan or strategy intended to achieve a particular goal. That's what an organization should do, is decide on what is the strategy, what is the goal at the end of this time period. Maybe it's a year, maybe it's just a quarter, maybe it's half a year. So it's setting that plan so that we do hit that desired goal. Also, we want to understand why even do a roadmap? Well, it has at least three different value points. One is to advance your mission. Your organization has a mission. How do you keep on track towards that mission? You set particular goals along the way, maybe quarterly, maybe yearly, but you're always working towards that mission. Also, a roadmap helps you adjust, improve your strategic position. As an organization, you do have that mission. How do you realize that mission? Through your positioning, whether it's attaining new technology, whether it's implementing new business processes, however you need to position your organization to achieve its mission. Also, and I think this is one of the biggest values of setting a roadmap, is it gives direction to the work. Now, sometimes when we say the word plan, it can stir up feelings of suffocation or a fear of small spaces for some people because of the narrow focus of where time and energy will be spent. But here's where the value comes in. In the doldrums of the mid-year, when you're wondering, what do we do next? Which direction should we go? Having a plan set, having work direction set will help your next steps keep you on the path towards your desired goal. Again, strategic position to advance the mission of your organization. So now that we know, here's what the value of a roadmap is, let's plan for success. One of my favorite movies growing up was The Karate Kid, and Mr. Miyagi always had the best quotes. And here's one from Mr. Miyagi. It says, "Ambition without knowledge is like a boat on dry land." As it relates to a roadmap, it's great to have this excitement and, oh, we're going to achieve so much and we're going to do it and we're going to be, have a great strategic position. We're going to achieve our mission. This is going to be a fantastic year. And that's highly ambitious. But without the arms and legs that actually make this goal happen, it's just like a boat on dry land. It's not going to go very far. So let's look at some plans for success. First of all, understand that there is opportunity cost for your roadmap. For me, I enjoy donuts. And when it's donut picking time, I would try to limit myself to just 2, and I'm usually successful. But which 2? When we have so many flavors, fillings, and toppings, there's a stinging pain when I must limit myself. Well, selecting which projects to put on the roadmap can feel limiting when you can't do all the projects. But realize that the opportunity is what you're gaining, even though there is a cost. So just know that from the onset, that as you select projects, you're going to have to discern and now reject projects. So discernment is needed. As an organization, your leadership team should want to get together and say, these are the specific projects that we're going to be able to do. Now, which specific projects? Again, alignment with your mission, strategic positioning. Also, to help you make a business case. What are the driving needs that we can do this year for our organization? Also, what projects fit with our operations? Is this project going to help our operations? Is it going to interfere with operations, our daily tasks? Also, consider constraints about the project you select. Does the technology exist? How much of a gap until we can attain that technology? What are some of the environmental factors that might limit us to being able to attain that project's end goal? And of course, the biggest constraints of all, cost and of course benefits. Will the cost realize the benefits? Is the juice worth the squeeze? So just some things to consider even before starting a project. Pick the right project. Another tool to help you plan for success is to rank your projects. You can, as an organization, decide on different drivers that will best help you decide which projects to use. On screen, you can see a few of them, maybe expand into new markets, improve customer satisfaction. On this list here on the left, you can see other ones like strategic value. What value, how on a scale of 1 to 10, does this provide? What is the immediate need? If we see an opportunity, we have to capitalize on it now before the window closes. So maybe that improves the need for the project. Furthermore, market penetration. We want to gain more market. We want to enter a new market. Public image, as your organization seeks to maintain its reputation, how will this align with the goals of the project? Of course, risk and compliance, some of the unseen but necessary factors to weigh when deciding on a project. And again, these are just a few. Your organization might have more specific needs to rank their projects against. I spoke earlier about opportunity cost, and that while you are gaining the opportunities, there is a cost. And sometimes that rejection, as I spoke about my enjoyment of selecting donuts, or lack thereof, the rejection part can feel painful, but it is very necessary. You might have 100 ideas on what to do for your projects for a year, but you can't do them all, again, because of constraints. And maybe they don't all align, as in the second bullet point, they don't all align with your organization's goals for that year, or don't strongly align. And I'll look at some tools later on that will help you realize which projects do align with our strategic goals. Thirdly, consider resource capacity. You do have a limited budget, and you do have a limited team. They have a limited hours. So consider how many hours, how much budget will this require? And you can start to weigh projects against each other with that. While you might say, well, I really want project A, project B, but it has a high cost, it actually doesn't realize our strategic goals. Project B has a lower cost and does realize our strategic goals. So you have two factors to start to weigh your projects against, and it starts to help you as an organization be very focused on project selection. The fourth bullet point on the screen, project management. Yes, you can select the right projects, you put them on your roadmap and have a beautiful roadmap for the year, but you still need to manage those projects. We, as an organization, Advisicon, are specialists consulting in project management, business processes, tools, and technology, as mentioned before. And we can help you decide what communication tools will help you achieve the success of your project. Do you have check-ins? What do those look like? How are those structured? Do you have milestones to hit? And milestones are great for an organization because as you have a 365-day long year, you can hit those points where you can say, oh, wow, we are making gains because we are hitting the various milestones in a project. So just some ways to think about how do we plan for the success of your projects for the year. All right, now the favorite part, the bake-off, comparing and contrasting the tools that you could use to help build your roadmap. Here are a few of the criteria that we can use to examine these various tools. On the left, you'll see the tools Excel, Planner, Project for the Web, Project Accelerator, maybe you've never heard of that, and Project Online. So this will help us do an analysis from a crawl to a walk to a run tool selection. Again, we want to pick the right tool and for the right time for your organization. First, we'll start off with Excel. You know, this is probably a very familiar tool because of its legacy use. It is what I would consider the crawl, meaning just getting started, low level of familiarity with technology or comfort with technology. You know, what's great about Excel is that it is so easy to learn, and yet it takes a lifetime to master it. Already on screen, I've shared a couple of the pros and cons, the benefits and limitations of Excel. You will get a visual roadmap. You make a tool to help some project selection. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the resource capacity or the project task progress. Let's dive deeper into Excel. ABC has extremely high strategic value according to this ranking, and yet it has moderate market penetration. You can jump down to project JKL in line 7, and you see that it has moderate strategic value, very high need though. So that's something that we can rank against that, you know what, we might really need to prioritize project JKL because of its clear and immediate need, even though it's not necessarily a main competitive edge as in column D or improved market penetration. But just knowing that, you know, there's a really high need for it now helps us to maybe bump project JKL to the top of priorities. And this is again done with an Excel drop-down list right within the Excel spreadsheet. Excel can also help you build a Gantt chart. The value of this again is that visual roadmap. One can start to see the durations and timing of the various projects. And you know, the eyes are such great, powerful tools that can do analysis right away. For example, we can see that project A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, they all have an overlap in March. And your eyes can start to, you can see that, and then you can start to process questions like, can we do 3 projects at once? Do we have the resource capacity? And just the same, we see a big gap of projects, nothing happening between July and August. And we're saying, could we put in another project? Could we stretch out the projects so that it's less intense resource capacity? And we can start to say, you know, our team can maintain its operational functions, perhaps, as well as its new projects functions. So very helpful to have a visual, and this is accessible, can be done in Excel. Next, we'd like to move on to Planner. Now, what's great about Planner is that just like Excel, it is included with your Microsoft 365 subscription. I would classify Planner as still very much in that crawl phase. It's an easy to use tool. It can be flexible to your needs. It just doesn't have that big feel, which may be just the right size for your organization. You can do some project progression. You can say things are done or in progress, or we haven't even started it yet. So that's helpful. And you can do some resource capacity. I would say it's very lightweight resource capacity, and we'll dive into the tool to show you what that looks like. Here we are in Planner, and what's great is the flexibility that you can sort and filter. First of all, you have buckets here on Planner, where you can start to group your task, or in our case with a roadmap, you can group projects by, for example, quarters. So that's one helpful way that Planner is flexible to your needs. You don't have to group them by quarter. They can also be grouped by other important delineators to your organization. What I think is very helpful with Planner is the labels feature here on the right-hand side. For example, I've said initiatives 1 through 6, and I've tagged the different projects with those initiatives. Now I can visually see, which projects have more alignment to our initiatives. I can see Project ABC has 4 tags, and perhaps that has a greater priority, as opposed to the ones in end of quarter 2, which only has 3 tags of alignment with our initiatives. So again, I can do some project selection, but I wouldn't say it helps me know which one's more important. I can just see that it has alignment. Up here, you can see the different ways that we can filter and group by. Again, helping that flexibility with Planner, with your organization needs in Planner. Let's take a look at another screen. This is one of the newest features in Planner, is that you don't only have the board view, you can now have a grid view. The grid view is helpful to see important details by row. You can see the Isaiah has project ABC, the start dates, what bucket that might be aligned to, and progress, and even priority. Now, as I mentioned, this doesn't really help you decide which project is more important or which one should be on your roadmap, but using the priority feature here on the right, you can start to maybe, as a smaller organization, say which projects might have more priority. Project ABC, again, has more initiatives tagged to it, but maybe through discussion and not necessarily analysis, qualitative, not necessarily quantitative analysis, we can rank Project ABC higher for the discussion that our organization has. Now, we have many videos on Microsoft Planner, and please check those out to see how you can use Planner more specifically to your organization's needs. Continuing our bake-off, I'd just like to first, before we continue on, note that Excel and Planner very much are the lightweight tools in the crawl phase of your organization, but still maybe combined together might meet your organization's needs. Again, here's the value of that bake-off. We can see if you're using a basic subscription with Microsoft 365, this might fill your needs. This might combined be what your organization needs. Now we're going to move on to the area highlighted in gold here, a little bit more sophisticated tools. What I would say is the walk phase, Project for the Web and Project Accelerator. Now, Project for the Web is still very much a walk tool with ease of use. It's not that different from Planner with the cards view, but the pro or the bonus of using Project for the Web is that you can build a roadmap from projects that you load into Project for the Web. Project Accelerator, maybe you've never heard of it. It is a very customizable tool that gets added on top of Project for the Web. It's an administrative tool is how I like to describe it. And you start to get into that, maybe not walk, or not so much walk anymore, maybe not yet running, maybe it's a jog. So again, that grow up story from crawl, walk, run. Let's look into these tools. Here in Project for the Web, we're actually in a roadmap view. That's one of the features of using Project for the Web. It actually lets you build a roadmap from projects that you have already inserted, loaded. You can pull dates and durations from those projects. Also, if you look at the top, you have, on the right rather, you have the choice to add connected row items. What are some examples of connected row items? Summary tasks, all tasks, or maybe just milestones. you can add some items and they'll come onto your roadmap, just like this one here with the onboarding phase. For example, that's a summary task. And then if you wanted to, you can start to add other tasks underneath the onboarding phase. What's also great about the roadmap tool is that it allows you to set your status of your tasks, whether it's you're progressing of the phase. For example, project ABC, you can see that onboarding phase is now orange. That means it is at risk. Contrast that with project GHI and its onboarding phase, it is on track. So now you have that visual tool again that helps decision makers, business leaders say, where are we at and how are we doing against our desired end goals? Furthermore, the roadmap tool allows you to add significant dates to your roadmap. At the top, you see dates where we have to have the project roadmap finalized by this time, or else we're not going to realize or be able to finish our projects. You also see that second green box, Q1 check-in. We had a quarter worth of projects. Let's check in. Let's see how we're doing. Let's see if maybe our priorities have changed. Maybe the environment has changed, and now we need to reprioritize. So again, as an organization, you can have awareness across the organization. It doesn't even have to be related to just the projects. It can relate to operations. Maybe you can say, for us as an operation, we're going to have electric or water or server administration on a certain date, and how will that impact our projects? So again, very helpful tool to help you plan for success on your roadmap. Furthermore, Project for the Web has had some enhancements. On the left, you can see the board view, which is similar to Planner, which helps it feel very familiar. You can create the buckets. In that view, for example, it's sorted by resource. Looking at the right-hand picture there, you can start to, it's called the people view, and you can start to look at resource capacity. For example, if we take a look here, see that AJ has more tasks than his colleagues. Now, perhaps the task size makes it even, or perhaps it's a mistake. We need to now rebalance the task load, but we would not have noticed this without the people view or resource capacity available in Project for the Web. Looking at that bottom image there, this is one of the best features of Project for the Web, and where an organization might want to grow is that you have now a scheduling engine that allows you to have task relationships. You can set predecessor relationship and success relationships, and you can, one big advantage is that, for example, if one of the tasks starts to slip in duration, you can see the downstream effect and how that will impact the end date of your project. In Planner, you couldn't do that. Now with Project for the Web, you have that predecessor-successor relationship. Project Accelerator, as I mentioned, can be added on top of Project for the Web. Looking at that screenshot at the top, you can see that this sits in the Dynamics platform of Microsoft, and by that logo at the top, you can see it actually is in, this is a Power App. What's great about Power Apps is that they're powerful, but also customizable to your organization's needs. For example, what we're looking at here is a project intake, or it's called project registration, but you can think of it as a project intake process. You can start to describe, give some meta information about the project, and then depending on your organization's needs, you could even start to build a business case for this project, and you can even start to weigh and rank projects based on your project selections. You can start to add drivers and put a quantitative assignment to the projects. So again, you can weigh it on budget, on duration, and impact to different areas, all customizable within the Project Accelerator. Now, as the Power App sits in the Power Platform, the data is accessible across what Microsoft calls the Dataverse. So data in the Project Accelerator or Project for the Web is now readable, understandable to Power BI. Again, another app within the Power Platform. So what we have in front of us is an automated timeline that shows the durations of the projects and their start and end date. Again, all this data is accessible through the Power Platform Dataverse. Very much not a crawl, more than a walk. I would say this might be even that jog phase, close to a run. As we're continuing on this roadmap Bakeoff, let's first make sure we reviewed how the grow up story has gone from Excel and Planner, where it has some features but not the full needs there. Project for the Web and Accelerator, very much growing up that walk, jog even place. And now we'll look at Project Online, very much that run tool. It's a legacy tool with nearly 40 years of build out. And what's the best descriptor of Project Online is that it's a database. It has immense amount of capability of storing and relating data. Here's a project center view of Project Online, and you can view, you can reference, you can sort, you can filter, and the views are very customizable. You can have views that relate to just your project manager or just based on the status of your indicators, whether it's cost, schedule, or work. You can start to say, I only want to see views where the cost, schedule, or work are in the red now. Going on with Project Online, this is what the scheduling engine would look like. It's very sophisticated. You have ability to assign resources and even have those resources report progress against their specific tasks. You don't have to just do increments of 10 or 25%. You can get very well measured, whether it's like 18%, 22%. You can measure your progress because now when your projects get bigger, you want to know what is the value of your projects. Furthermore, one of the biggest benefits of using Project Online, as mentioned in our criterion, is that you have a tool that helps you select which projects to do. It's called the Portfolio Analyzer. On the right, you can see which drivers we want to pick to hold our projects against, to have our project selection. You can even weight the drivers. Not all drivers have the same weight. Some are more important. And then you can weight projects against projects based on the alignment of the drivers. What's great about any type of portfolio analysis is that it removes the emotion out of project selection. Different VPs, leaders might want to pick certain projects because they think it'll be so cool. It would be so great to talk about that we have this new process. But does it really help with the strategic positioning, advance our mission? So using a quantitative tool like the Portfolio Analyzer helps remove that emotion and say, you know what, while as much as I want, like for example down here, this IT vendor system rollout, maybe that's not that's most important. Maybe application interface infrastructure optimization is actually what we need. Again, taking the emotion out of it, let's pick the tool that best helps our mission positioning for our organization. All right, let's summarize all that we've talked about today in our bake-off. First of all, roadmaps have value. It helps you understand your mission, position, and then plan for the success of your organization, really. And as you execute your projects, make sure that you've selected the right ones. You had to reject some, but think about it that you've perfectly or more strongly aligned your projects to the success of your organization. Based on the tool you have, you can now even do resource capacity. Will our team be able to fill that project? And you can start to maybe pace it out so that you can do them successfully. And of course, project management practices will always help you get things done. As we went through the roadmap bake-off, we looked at a lot of tools, and I would always suggest that you look for the right tool for the right time for your organization. Maybe you need that big run tool, but as an organization, you're not very grown up in your use of technology yet, and that's fine. Use the right tool for the right time of your organization. Thank you for watching this webinar. Please feel free to reach out with any questions. Like or follow us on our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We offer many free trainings in our online academy, and you can access those by visiting advisicon.thinkific.com. If you are a project manager and you would like PDUs, simply become a member of Advisicon Academy. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.